welcome back to another tier list video. I saw some remarks about Wyvern Riders, and like 2 or 3 people were enough to convince me, yeah, let's do Wyvern Riders. So, as we've been over before, but just in case, I'll repeat. C is neutral. Just because a character is in C doesn't mean I dislike them or like them. They're neutral, and then above and below you can get. I am not a Game Informer. I do not grade on a 7-point scale. Just because something's in the middle doesn't mean it's bad. 5 out of 10 means average. But you know who's not average? Minerva. The OG Dragon Rider, or Wyvern Rider, whatever you want to call them. They're Wyverns, not dragons, but Wyverns are dragons in some places. It's weird. She's really good. I really like how, in the first Fire Emblem game, one of the most powerful commanders in the continent of Arcanea was a woman. I think that's really badass, especially for 1990. Like, very good. Her character's very nice. I love tropes of badass warriors who don't really want to fight. It's literally a CDI King of Hyrule going, this piece is what all warriors strive for. Minerva doesn't want to fight. She doesn't want to be queen. She'd rather just be to herself. But the circumstances of her and her brother kinda make that not possible. So, solid character, solid first Wyvern Rider. Minerva's supremacy is real. I very much like Minerva. Also, real quick, in case I need to mention, some people might be wondering, well, what about the White Wings? They all promote into Pegasus Knights, or like Tana and Vanessa can promote into Wyvern Knights, etc. Promote into Wyvern Knights, I believe I said White Wings promote into Pegasus Knights, ignore that. While you are correct, when I tell you to think of the White Wings, do you think of fucking Dragon Riders, or do you think of Pegasus? Like, yes, they can promote into Wyvern Riders. However, everyone considers them Pegasus Knights. So if I ever do a Pegasus Knight video, I would cover them there. I think it's pretty obvious to say, though, they're not fucking Wyvern Riders. Pegasus Knights. Michaelis! I normally do these for playable characters only, and he is playable in FE12. Why did I take his FE3 portrait? It's the one I saw first. Now, you might think it's funny. He is the icon of the YouTube channel, and he was the original profile picture of the Facebook and Twitter page. And I really do love him. I love him a lot. I love how his ambition is both his greatest strength and his Achilles heel. It's what drives him to do these incredible things, but also what ultimately ends up killing him and putting him on the path of villainy. However, I also like how in Fire Emblem 3, he does die that heroic death to help undo some of the problems caused by his ambition, realizing the error of his ways and making a last-ditch effort to change it. Why is he not an S? Because he's dead. He 100% should be dead. Of everything New Mystery does to the plot in Fire Emblem 3, and it fucks up Fire Emblem 3's plot in a lot of ways, Michaelis not dying is one of the bigger offenders. Like, he was supposed to die the hero's death. Like, it was supposed to not feel good. You were supposed to go, oh man, Michaelis, he was good in the end. He just wanted to help. And he dies. Having him live and kind of get off for killing his father scot-free, that doesn't sit right with me. That's not what Michaelis was about, in my opinion. So that's what keeps him away from S. His very, very poor appearance in New Mystery. After that, Gaiden had no Wyvern Riders, and FE3 just had the same Wyvern Riders as before, so the next one doesn't come until Genealogy of the Holy War. I'll put Altena in B. Maybe. It's weird. I like Altena. Don't get me wrong. Altena? I believe it's Altena. I'm probably pronouncing names wrong. Who cares? Very likable character, very strong woman. You'll notice that Wyvern Rider females tend to be very aggressive, strong women, which I like. You love to see it. The thing with Altena is, first of all, she bucks the trend of daintily sister to the, main lord. Because you think of Elise, you think of, Ethlyn, Julia, Lissa, Mist. They're all very sweet, kind ladies. Lissa's a bit mischievous, but most of them very sweet. And then Altena's a buff fucking Wyvern rider. That's a cool change of pace. I also really like what she does for Trovant's character, because it's kind of left open in the air. Like, did Trovant not want to kill a child from the very start? Like, did he intend to groom her for using the gay bulg? Or did he always want to save a child's life, and then he eventually just... It was a circumstance, like she could use the gay bulg, why not? But that's what I really like for Trovant's character. If I were including enemies in this list, Trovant would be S. So Altena raises a very interesting conundrum with, Trovant. I like her conversations with Arian, even though, like, Arian's love of her is kind of weird. They were raised as step-siblings, and despite what Pornhub tries to tell you, that's gross and weird if you try to fuck your stepsister. So her relationship with Aron is kind of weird to me, but other than that, like, that's not really a true mark against her. I still really like her. Very solid lady. Good for the other characters as well. Her conversations with Finn and Leaf are very nice. All in all, a very good character. Dean is in the same boat. If you'll remember my Fire Emblem 5 Let's Play, I fucked up getting his Dragon Pike in the most hilarious way.
Asbel, what was in this fucking house? Oh dear, where is Sir Dean gone?
But I looked up that scene later, and Dean is very good. At first, he's kind of just an honor-bound knight, which, you know, that's... Trust me, if I ever do a Cavalier list, we'll see 5,000 of them. But the thing that makes Dean a little bit better than others is his relationship with Linoan, I think her name is pronounced? That whole love triangle thing with him, Linoan, and Aron is very, like, it's interesting. And the fact that Dean and Linoan, despite Linoan being in love with him, don't end up together in the end. Like, normally someone walks out happy from that, but in that love triangle, none of the three of them hook up. Dean doesn't get with Linoan. Aron doesn't get with Linoan. I guess technically Dean doesn't get with Aron either. And that's a bit different. It's a bit more of a sad angle to it. There's also the added tidbit that's a little interesting of apparently, and this is just the wiki, so it could be lying to me, who knows. Dean was originally supposed to be executed for his relationship with Linoan, but they changed that in the final game, which, I mean, that would have been even more depressing. But I still like Dean as he is. He's interesting, if as a personality, he's not the most fun to read. He's kind of, again, just your loyal knight. But the circumstances around him and how he plays into them make up for a lackluster personality. I like Edda. She's nice. She's interesting. Not interesting, she's just nice. Like, an aggressive character, like, self-sacrificial, always doing what she can for her kingdom. The problem is, there's like, what, 3 lines of dialogue she has? And then her epilogue? She is a victim to a character in Thracia 776. I would probably put her in B or A if she had more lines, but she doesn't. So, kinda stuck. So, unfortunate, but I'm glad to see her. She was fun. I liked using her, even if she's not that good of a unit. It's okay. Nothing good, nothing bad. It's just a Thracia character. Milady! I still cannot believe that was what they went with foreign localization instead of Murady. I don't know if B or A. I'm gonna put in B. I like her character. A very steadfast, strong woman. Her, conversation with Gale makes me cry every time. I like that she's a character with a lot of build-up. You see her flying around. There's a lot of time for her to establish her sense of morality and her relationship with Guinevere. She is a very likable character. Her supports are really good, too. Her support with her brother's nice. I like something that's gonna sound really weird, but I like that her and her brother are victims of racism. Now, hear me out here. In other games, when you recruit an enemy, it's normally like, alright, great, they're on our side now. But think about how it feels when you've been fighting those guys, you've seen the horrors they do, and then one of them's like, I'm kidding about being bad, I'm good. I like that Lou and Chad genuinely, like, once they learn Milady's from Burn, they don't treat her the same way. Hell, I think it's Chad even says, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to like you again. Or was that Lou? Like, that's some heavy shit. And it really, like, I like that they actually go into the concept of what it means to betray your army and join another one. It's not all hunky-dory. There is some genuine struggle between them. So that, and her relationship with Gale, put her in B. Zeus, I'm also putting in for largely the exact same reasons. He's very, very much, like, similar to Melody. He's a bit less experienced, so he's a bit more, like, young and brash. He has a bit more, he has a support with Bartray, which means it's instantly funny. His support with Bartray is very funny. His relationship, rather than Melody, has the supports with, Chad and Lou to sort of highlight the tension. Zeus has it with Shin. And it's the similar purpose, but I think Shin is a less interesting character than Lou and Chad, so it's not quite as strong as with Melody. What puts him back up, though, is he has a support with Carol. And the rule of Fire Emblem 6 is if you have a support with Carol, you are instantly better than characters that don't have a support with Carol. No, I am not elaborating on that. Next up, we have Heath. He's alright. I don't know what the fuck's up with his hair. I know, Fire Emblem characters have anime hair. Like, really, like, you got Camilla's purple hair down there. Fucking whatever the hell goes on with Michaelis' hair. But I'm gonna poke fun at Heath. Heath is like, his hair might be the weirdest, other than Perry. Aesthetics aside, he's likable. His supports are likable. His supports with Priscilla have that tragic romance to them. His supports with Vida is very cute, which is surprising for how vicious of a woman Vida is. And he's likable. There is, of course, his motive for joining you. It's the I don't want to fight women and children, which, alright, but he'll still fight Sonya or Ursula if you have him attack them. So, you know how it is. Women aren't women if they're evil. Other than that, he's likable. He's memorable, likable. He's not gonna win a Pulitzer Prize in writing, but come on, not every character is meant to do that. He probably just blends into the background, because in terms of a unit, I think Heath is like the worst Wyvern rider in the series, and he's not even bad. Like, he's pretty good. Just goes to show how powerful the Wyvern riders are. So he tends to fade into obscurity for a lot of players, which is a shame, because he is likable, if nothing incredible. Vida, I like Vida. Putting her above Heath might be surprising, but I like how fucking vicious this woman is. Like, I was talking about how Zeus and Murdy, like, they show what it means to be an enemy joining the player's army. Vida shows that, but in terms of, like, the evil kind of attitude of just being a bad bitch. Vida is brutal. And while that doesn't make her likable in the sense of, like, if I met Vida on the side of the street, I'd probably think to myself, by God, what a fucking bitch. But, you know, through the lens of watching the character, there's something about her unapologetic bitchness that you just don't see in Fire Emblem. Normally, all of your playable characters are these nice, sweet characters. They might have deep mental problems that lead to some questionable actions, but they're all at the end likable. With very few exceptions. Vida, there's no reason she's a bitch. She just is. And I kinda have to respect it. It's similar to how I feel with Niles in Fire Emblem Fates. Like, he's just a dick. But there's something about how much of an unapologetic dick he is. Same with Azama in Fates as well. Like, they don't try to make up a reason for her to be the way she is. She just is. And that's kinda cool. I like that approach. It's different. Cormag. He's a fan favorite from Sacred Stones for a reason. Very good story presence. Everyone brings up his, like, relationship with Glenn and how that functions in Erica route. I think my favorite line from Cormag is in Ephraim's route, actually, where he doesn't know about Glenn's murder, and when he goes to fight Volter, Volter's like, "Oh, look at you, traitor to the crown, what the fuck are you gonna do?" And Cormag goes, "You know what? I am a traitor, and it very well may be me who dies in this fight. But a dog like you will never see me crawl." And that is one of the most raw fucking boss quote lines in the series. I love him dearly. Other than that, his supports are nice. He's the gimmick of a very scary looking man who's actually just a complete softie. And I like that. Even when he is a softie to, like, animals and stuff, he's still kind of gruff. And I like that. It's charming. He has a solid backstory, though it's shown in his support with Seth, which not many people probably saw, because they were busy having Seth, marry Erica because it's cute. But I really like it. His supports are very good. His character's very good. Cormag is very good. I like Cormag a lot. Speaking of, S tier for Jill. Jill is a character that's been talked about to heaven and back. There's not much I can add to the Jill discussion that isn't already known. Yes, in Path of Radiance, Jill is a racist little shit. She was brainwashed with propaganda, she learns that it's wrong and stands for what's right. You've heard everything there is to say about Jill. She's one of the most talked about Tellius characters for a reason. She plays into the themes of Path of Radiance and Tellius as a whole very well. There's not much else I can say. She's just good. She takes the idea of Milady and Zeus and just fucking expands it out of the water with what it means to betray your army and stand up for what's right. Very, very good character. Har. Har is also a fan favorite. He is really good. He has a very enjoyable personality, very good backstory. His supports are minimal, but that's not really why Har is remembered. Har is remembered because for no goddamn reason, in Radiant Dawn, Har has the best boss quotes in the fucking franchise, and he has like 7 of them in one game. Like, every single line that Har has with the Benyon Senate in the tower is fucking incredible. His conversation with LaVale is well documented. His line with Lacame, it's just like, man, people like you, the world could flip upside down and you'd be trying to boss around gravity. Or when he's talking to Hetzel, he just goes, Hetzel's like, why would you turn your back on Benyon? And Har just goes, you could live another long lifetime and you'd still never understand. Like, shit like that. He is such a good character. If there's anything I have to say against him, the fact that he can marry Jill is kinda weird. Radiant Dawn has 2 of those. Like, if I had a nickel for every time Radiant Dawn had someone who's like 30 years older marry someone 30 years younger than them, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. And that's a mark against Har. It's a little creepy to think about, but... Cherche! Wow, those sure were some opinions about Wyvern riders, but you know what I like even more than my opinions? My patrons, the people that give me money every month in exchange for me giving better, or if you can call it better, content for you all to enjoy. For as little as $3 a month, you can have your name listed right here, and for $5 a month minimum, I'll have to say your name aloud, such as Drew Hack, Great Riek, Wario Carroll, Brentendo11, Saint Nember, Kieran Morin, Steph D, Ryan Walter, Gisby Striker, and who can forget follow Penta the North Star on Twitch. Bastard's been getting free advertising out of me constantly. If you sound like you want to be a guy whose name is listed here, give me some money a month, and who knows, maybe I might just be not stupid on camera for once. Yeah, back to Wyvern Riders. Alright. I like Cherche. Not... I'm trying to think of how to talk about Cherche. She's likable. She's a mom. Like, I'm not even talking about Jerome down here. She's the mom of Crom's army. Always looking out for people, sewing things together for them, being someone to talk to and consult with. Her supports with Lan Q are amazing. Her supports with Varian are very good. Her supports with Libra are funny. Like, she's just a likable, sweet character. Now, is there, like... the problem is with the... okay, let me try to conduct my thoughts here. It's not that I dislike Cherche at all, it's just she's kind of likable. Doesn't really, from my memory, and I could be remembering wrong here, doesn't have much of a backstory to speak of, which is very ironic considering everyone is horny for her back. Her design's a little weird again with that back window, but like if I want to talk about weird Awakening designs, I'd bring up like every fucking character in Awakening. And I've already done enough of design critique with Heath. No! Sorry Heath fans, he's in B, not S. Cherche, she's just likable. She's nice. I like her. Yeah. Jerome. He's good. I do not like most of Fire Emblem Awakening Gen 2. In fact, if you were to put them all on a list, Jerome and Morgan would probably be the only two I liked. I think. Probably forgetting someone. He's kind of brooding, he's kind of edgy, but like, you get it. You know what Jerome's been through. You know what's happened to him. I can't remember where he says this, but one of his lines where he goes like, I wanted a mother, but all I got was a wyvern and something. Fuck, it was a really good line, and I'm blanking on it. But like shit like that is at the epitome of Jerome's character. He kind of goes into the fact that none of the Awakening kids wanted the life that they got. Sure, obviously this applies to the entire generation, but with Jerome, that concept's really explored. I really like it. The one thing about Jerome I'm not too fond of is his weird mask gimmick. Like, it really feels like they just wrote Jerome out to be this very serious, melancholy character, and then about, like, as they were wrapping up the script, they were like, ah, shit, we forgot to give Jerome a gimmick, and just slapped a mask on him. It's weird. Like, there were a few Awakening characters I've noticed about that, because I'm doing my Libra video as I'm talking about this, and Reed supports, there were a few gimmicks that aren't nearly as important as I remembered. Like, in the example of I'm doing, the fact that Libra looks like a woman almost never comes up at all in anything. Or, like, Jerome's mask just feels unnecessary. Like, it's weird. I don't know. I still like Jerome in spite of that, and the whole mask thing really isn't a strike against him. It's just something I think is weird. Camilla. Camilla. I don't think many of you are surprised by that one. Camilla may very well be the most divisive character in the fandom. Like, there are some that, like, cause a weird, like, really kind of look. Like, sure, I did an Erica video and people are like, oh, she's an idiot, no, she's good. Or, like, a divisiveness on other characters of that nature, like Celica, etc. But, like, they pale in comparison to the Camilla War. And I don't think it's truly done. Like, people either love this character or fucking despise this character. And I'm in the latter. However, I'm gonna make this amendium now that I think about it, and I'll get to that in a moment. So, okay. What don't I like about Camilla? Yes. I don't like her creepy obsession with her step-sibling. That's really creepy and weird to me. Again, despite what Pornhub may tell you, that's creepy as shit to be able to fuck your step-sibling. And Camilla was raised with them like that. That's really weird and creepy. I don't like her design. And again, design doesn't matter too much. Like, Heath has a weird fucking design with his hair, and I don't really care. Except for the fact that Fates really likes to emphasize aspects of her design. Like, there's a Facebook page that puts a different sound over Camilla's tit crash every day, and it's actually kind of funny. But, like, still shit like that, or her birthright walk-up. They really uncomfortably sexualize Camilla a lot, and I hate that. And her supports. They tried to write, like, 3 different characters into one, and honestly, all 3 of them could have worked if they just picked one. They had to work in the Korin fetish in a few supports, like her Ryoma supports. They're not about, you know, Camilla getting along with Ryoma, they're about who loves Korin more. There's her support with Arthur, I think, trying to get more love with Korin, and that's weird, those supports suck. There's the Camilla that's a sweet, loving mother figure to everyone because of the pain she went through as a child with the whole, like, war of all of Garen's hoes. Which, that could have worked. There are moments, like with Elise or other characters, where Camilla is sweet. But then there's also the aspect of Camilla that's a spiteful bitch. Like with Keaton, she's an asshole. With Jacob, she's completely unlikable. Like, her entire conversation with Jacob is she wants to get Jacob to stop helping Korin after she admits of what a great asset he is to them because she's jealous that they rely on Jacob. What's likable about that? What? That's weird. That's dumb. If you cared about Korin, you wouldn't try to force away one of their most valuable friends and allies. Like, or her Niles support. I thought it was great at first, like Niles calling Camilla out. But then Camilla whips out the sob story and Niles is like, okay, fine. No, Camilla deserves to be called out for her bullshit. That's what makes Charlotte, another character from Fates, really good. Because Benny and Saizo both call out Charlotte for being a two-faced bitch. And the response there isn't, well, actually, no, her response is, yeah. And those call-out posts on their twitter.com, sorry, I can't go a single day without quoting Sonic 06 fandub. That was Sonic Adventure 2 fandub, shut up. They help make Charlotte more grounded because her shitty actions aren't just entirely overlooked. Camilla's are. And I can't stand that. So you might be thinking, with all of that negativity, why is she an E? Because all of those weird, creepy traits work very well for a villain. And she is a villain in Birthright, where I think she belongs. If Camilla were just pure evil, with a really creepy fetish over Korin, I think she would work great. Just completely remove... No, you could even work in the nice aspects, because it could be like a manipulative side. She's like, I'm your sweet mother figure, but in reality she wants to fucking obsess and have you for herself. It would work great as a villain. But as a character, Camilla just gets worse the more you read. It feels like I was purposeful, like when I read more about Camilla, because when the game came out, I read all the supports, because that's who I am as a person. It feels like you get punished for learning more about Camilla, because she's just less and less good. So, I think she's fine as a Birthright villain, and the other thing that makes Camilla really bad is her retainer is right there and does everything so much better. Baruka is one of my favorite characters. Like, yes, she's an assassin, and they go into that. It's kind of like Jafar, if Jafar were given more supports. And I love Jafar as is. This very quiet, emotionless killer who has to come to grips with what she's done in her life, what that means for her, and how she can be a human again. Very interesting. I really like to see it. My favorite moment of her is that Saizo support. The C support with her and Saizo is infamous for being cut to just nothing but ellipses in localization, whereas the actual support is a very much in-depth look at how Baruka and Saizo view killing, and what it means to have a body count, that's really interesting. And a lot of her's like that. Baruka's not a very fun character. She's not very cheery, doesn't have a lot of laughs. But I like that about her. I like these more serious characters. With everything I just said about Camilla, this might come as surprising, but I actually really like Fate's cast. So Baruka has a lot of better characters to bounce off of. And there's also Camilla, but you know. Very, very solid. I like Baruka a lot. Then we have Three Houses. I have Seteth and Cyril here because, to my knowledge, they're the only characters that, after time skip, are default Wyvern riders. Claude is as well, but again, as I said with Hector in the Armor Knights video, I count Claude as a Lord, not a Wyvern rider. I believe it's just Seteth and Cyril. I could be forgetting someone, but I'm pretty sure they're the only two. Seteth! I love this. I love my Boomer Priest. Funny I say that, because I am very surprised that when, like, the Three Houses hype died down a bit, and then everyone was like, we got a better grasp on who everyone's favorite characters are, Seteth got a very strong following, and he got a very horny following, which is very weird to me. But people really like Seteth, and it's easy to see why. He's the ideal version of a stubborn priest. Like, yes, he wants to impart his knowledge upon others. Yes, he does some religious stuff. But, like, you don't hate him. He's not forcing his ideals down your throat. A big part of who Seteth is as a character is all about, yes, he wants to impart his knowledge and his way of life, but if you choose a different one, you're not wrong. He's very understanding of there being other people in life that walk their own paths. And him teaching other people around him, other students like Felix or Cyril, is very nice to see. He's a very reassuring father figure, and I like him a lot. His relationship with Flame is also very cute. His backstory is incredibly interesting. Everything about Seteth is very good. I like him, you like him, he's a fan favorite in Three Houses for a reason. People love their sexy Boomer Priest. However, if he saw some of the fan art people drew of him, he would send you straight to hell. But I feel like his fans want him to do that to him. Alright, Cyril! B? I really like Cyril. Though a lot of people don't. I remember at the beginning of Three Houses, people really didn't like Cyril. Like, I think he might very well have been the most hated character in the game at one point. I think most people hate Gilbert now, but like, there was a lot of negativity around Cyril, and I kinda got it. Like, people were upset that the other dark-skinned character, I talked about Dedue last time, but the dark-skinned character was obsessing over the white savior, and I get why that's uncomfortable, but much like Dedue, Cyril was told to stop doing that. Like, a lot of Cyril's character is that he's way too obsessed with Lady Rhea, and he needs to stop. Again, though, the fact that both of the other than Claude, two of the three dark-skinned characters are like that, I definitely get why some people didn't like it. And again, I am not a dark-skinned male, so maybe my perspective on this is a little warped, but it didn't bother me that much, especially because Cyril was very much promoting against it. And what is Cyril's character, Rhea notwithstanding? Hard-working, honest, very, cold at first, but warms to people. He's a likable kid. He has a very good time skip design. His time skip personality is very nice, especially because Rhea isn't really there to influence it as much. He's just likable. Nothing too amazing, but, like, he's not supposed to be. He's not bad. He's an overwhelming not bad. I think his supports with Lysithea are infamously adorable, and people really love them together. His supports with Seteth are very good. His fucking brutal line with Manuela to this day is still one of the greatest things someone said in Three Houses. He's just good. Cyril is just good. I am happy that Cyril is in the game. And that does it for Wyvern Riders, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm not forgetting any. Heaven forbid I do. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to do. As you can see, I really like the class. One character notwithstanding. Poor Edda. Like, I don't dislike her at all, but she's just the only one in mediocre. Which just speaks to the quality of the class more than anything else. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Remember, these are my opinions, and if you disagree with them, that's fine. You're wrong, but that's fine. Just kidding. You're free to like and love who you like, and you're free to hate who you hate. Just please, don't be an asshole. That is all I request. I also request that you, leave a suggestion for any other classes you want me to do with this. I might very well give my opinions on every individual character in the franchise by the time this is all over. Though, I think the Ballistician video will be pretty short. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.